We would now like to start the presentation of the financial results for the 9-month ended December 31st, 2022 by NTT Holding Company. Thank you for joining us despite your busy and demanding schedule. My name is Sekine with the Communications Department of NTT, and I'll be serving as the moderator today. I'd like to introduce the attendees from our side. President and CEO, Mr. Akira Shimada. Senior Vice President, Head of Finance and Accounting, Mr. Kazuhiko Nakayama. And also Senior Vice President, Head of Corporate Strategy Planning, Mr. Takashi Taniyama. These are attendees from our side. Mr. Shimada will explain to you the financial results for the 9-month ended December 31st, 2022, after which we'll take your questions. Also, the materials have been uploaded on NTT's website as of 1400 p.m. Japan time today. Then we'd like to start the meeting. Mr. Shimada, the floor is yours. Thank you very much. My name is Shimada from NTT. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your attendance. Allow me to present to you the financial results for the 9-month ended December 31st, 2022. Please turn to page 4 of your material. Page 4, please. This shows you the status of consolidated results for fiscal year 2022 third quarter. Year-on-year operating revenue increased, operating income decreased, and profit increased. Operating revenue and profit reached new record high level as the third quarter. As for operating revenue, this increased by 649.4 billion yen year-on-year, up to 9,572.6 billion yen, due to increase in revenue in the Global Solutions Business segment. And of this increase, the impact from foreign exchange or currency was roughly 220 billion yen. Now, while increase in operating revenue boosted our operating income, this was not enough to cover increase in the electricity cost. So operating income declined by 18.8 billion yen to 1,520.8 billion yen. However, we are already promoting cost reduction measures to cover the increase in electricity cost. And we intend to reach the annual plan through these concrete measures going forward. Now, as for profit, this went up 2.2 billion yen year-on-year and reached 1,032.5 billion yen due to non-recurring factors such as the corporate tax. As for overseas operating income margin, this increased 1.0 point, up to 6.4%, due to increased profit from increased revenue as well as cost reduction based on structural transformation. Please turn to page 5 of your material. This shows the contributing factors by segment. As far as the integrated ICT business segment is concerned, while there was negative impact from price reduction in the consumer communication business, this was amply covered by the increased revenue and cost reduction efforts in our enterprise business and Smart Life business. So both operating revenue and operating income increased year-over-year in this segment. Turning now to regional communication segment. On top of the higher than expected increase in electricity cost, the demand for fiber service for remote work and online classes has more or less run its course. Also, there was no one-off positive factor, no positive recurring factor, non-recurring factors such as Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games in the previous year. So in this segment, we saw operating revenue and operating income declining. But now, on top of introducing concrete cost reduction measures to cover increased electricity cost, we will aim expanding revenues from system integration growth business, and thereby we hope to achieve the annual guidance through these measures. Turning now to the Global Solution Business segment. Due to increased revenue from strong demand for digital services, as well as expanded high-value services at NTT Limited, as well as cost reduction at NTT Limited related to structural transformation. In this segment, we saw both operating revenue and operating income increase year-on-year. Now, as for others, which relates to real estate and energy-related business, on top of increase in electricity agency business at ENNET, due to increase in revenue from electricity fees reflecting the rise in commodity prices, operating revenue increased year-on-year. Let me now turn to the 4 topics, if I may. Please turn to page 7. First, I would like to talk about our initiative to resolve food and environmental issues, if I may. We will form a planning company in the furtherance of establishing a green food business with a company called Regional Fish Institute Limited in March this year. Let me show you this chart. As a matter of fact, at NTT Research Institute, we have a lot of technological prowess, and they are focused on genome editing for algae. In the case of Regional Fish Incorporated, Regional Fish Institute, they have genome editing to enable growth of shellfish and seafood. So at NTT Research Institute, we have genome editing for algae, and CO2 absorption can be enhanced by 1.5-fold. In the case of Regional Fish Institute's technology that relates to genome editing for increasing the fish meat, that technology also allows to, again, absorb CO2, although it does vary from fish to fish. So let me try to cite an example here. We have blowfish. In the case of blowfish, you can expand the flesh by twofold through their technology. So we can combine these two technologies together, then we can actually grow algae, which absorbs CO2. And that algae can be used in the aquaculture business and use that as a feed for various fish, such as blowfish, and have the fish meat increased by twofold. Then that bone can actually absorb the CO2 and can fixate the absorbed CO2, so which means we can address both. We can resolve both food and environmental issues through these technologies. So we're trying to come up with a sustainable land-based aquaculture system, and that is what we would like to propose going forward. Now, we plan to establish a joint venture between the planning company and Regional Fish Institute in the first half of fiscal year 2023. We hope to resolve various socials through this endeavor.
Please go to the next slide. And I'd like to talk about our initiatives in the space business. Space Compass Corporation has concluded a joint business agreement with the Skyloom Global Corporation with the aim of properly realizing global expansion. Space Compass and Skyloom Global Corporation will jointly develop an optical data relay service business for high-speed transmission of data from the LEO satellites to the ground. We will launch 3 geostationary orbit satellites jointly with Skyloom and 1 GEO independently to provide global coverage. Initially, we will launch 1 GEO over Asia and start business operations at the end of FY 2024, and then gradually expand the coverage area. Compared to existing services, this will enable high-capacity, near real-time data transmission from observation satellites to ground stations. Please go to page 9. I'd like to update how the remote working is being utilized, and we have introduced this system in July last year. And it has been about 6 months since we introduced the work system with working remotely as standard, which allows employees to work with no limit set on places of residence. The number of employees eligible for the system has increased by approximately 10,000. And also, we have seen the number of employees posted alone away from their families decreased by about 900 due to the introduction of a system. And when combined with the increase of approximately 500 employees who have newly started working away from the families, the total number of employees posted away from their families decreased by approximately 400. We will continue to expand the number of employees covered by the system and enhance the lifestyle and work style options for employees. We are not going to the details, but the results of a survey of employee attitudes toward remote work is shown on the next page, page 10, for your reference. Basically speaking, the satisfaction level of the remote working and also the productivity change, and the employees have responded positively as to the results of this system. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you.